Earthquake Bird, the Wash Westmoreland show or movie on Netflix. Whew, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. Starring the Queen, Alicia Vikander, McQueen, as Lucy Fly, a American who has moved to and integrated herself into Japanese culture.
Is she American or is she English? Didn't she have her English accent in the movie?
Good point. I guess she must have been
Doesn't
English.
matter.
Yeah.
Expat.
Yes, exactly. And she falls in love with Taichi, played by Naoki Kobayashi. And quickly things start to go awry when Riley Keough's Lily Bridges starts to bring her mysteriousness about. Yeah, Earthquake Bird. You see Alicia Vikander in a starring role, and she's been pretty much excellent. I mean, I guess Tomb Raider, you're like, it's fine. It was what it was. But I think we both thought she was pretty good, Laura Croft. So you go into this, you're thinking, okay, this movie has potential. Wash Westmoreland, known for Still Alice in 2014, probably his breakout film, and then Colette, which you reviewed last year in the pod. Hit that subscribe button. But boy, I was left confounded with this movie. You had a really interesting tweet, or a really funny tweet about this. I think it was the Alonzo Mourning gif, right? Or was it
no? It was
Kombucha Girl.
Yeah,
because the whole time it was a scene I'd be left. I was like, huh, this is really intriguing, and then I'd go to another scene. I'd be like, what the hell is going on here? And I'd be like, ugh, this is terrible. And I was like, oh, actually, you know what? Maybe not that bad. I guess before we get too far into it, how are you feeling about this movie?
I mean, as the tweet suggests, I was up and down throughout the runtime. You watch it. Again, we're in the bag for Vikander. Liked her a long time. Obviously, broke out several years ago. Dual role, the amazing year, Ex Machina, and then winning Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for The Danish Girl. And then parlaying all of that fame into other fun roles like Man from U.N.C.L.E. and Tomb Raider, as you said. And seeing her as a lead is just immediately compelling because we know how talented she is. And I think she's quite good in the movie. And she actually has a lot to do with as her character starts to lose grips with the reality in a certain sense, or at least that's how it's presented to us. Again, the movie is told in a nonlinear fashion, is quite confusing. And then as you're watching it towards the end, you realize that the plot was not really the point of the story the whole time. Yet I feel like everyone who watches it is really focused on the plot in the beginning. So you just kind of feel like you're just not in sync with where the movie wants you to be when you're watching it. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, it looks awesome. There's great cinematography, cool ass settings in Japan. It's beautiful scenes, lots of different stuff. Vikander has tons of great fits. The costume design is awesome. And I actually like that she's not being propped up as the foreigner in Japan, because Japan is a tropey-ass place to experience foreignness, right? No, she's actually someone who speaks fluent Japanese and just, assimilated into Japanese culture because she's running from things. That's actually kind of a refreshing take of having a white people's story in Japan. Yet that story it was really hard to grasp. And it's just odd,
Yeah, and you know that she has something mysterious about her, something that she's hiding throughout the whole movie, but you're not even really given breadcrumbs or barely breadcrumbs throughout the film until at the very end when it's all explained, pretty much in depth. And it feels like you said, there's so many nice parts. Parts of this remind me of, at least in coloring and the way it's shot, remind me a bit of Blade Runner 2049. Sure. The coloring, especially when they're out at the nightclubs, or if they're in the
mood lighting.
Yes, or if they're in the what's it called, production room for the photos or whatever it is, film room. Really beautiful. And then other times you're just kind of man, I don't even know what they were going for in some of these scenes. I am left so confused as to what was actually happening in the scene with Lily and Lucy when they're sleeping on the bed next to each other, and they have the conversation during the earthquake, and then Lily just doesn't remember. It's like I don't know what I'm supposed to believe with that, and then maybe it's supposed to leave the viewer with this sense of like you don't know if Lucy's experience is a narrator that can be reliable at this point. But at the same time, it's like uh, it leaves me confused as to what I think it was really trying to say in a lot of ways. And
Mm-hmm.
um, if the plot is leaving me confused and the point of the movie is leaving me confused, I feel like there's something being lost here that maybe isn't just me. But did you have that same experience?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was just putting it on my the list of everything I've seen this year, and I'm like, well, there's a lot of things I like about this movie. Yet there's these other movies that have way less ambition, like say Men in Black International or something,
Mm-hmm.
that actually I think just work way better for what they're going for, you
Yeah.
know? And you kind of had a sense that Earthquake Bird wasn't to the level of Marriage Story, The Two Popes,
Right.
Irishman, even The King. When Netflix started to stop promoting it, very tepid festival reception. But you can even look on Rotten Tomatoes. A lot of the top critics haven't really reviewed this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it just seems like Netflix just kind of rushed it out the door at the end because they understood that it didn't quite come together. But, you know, they were definitely trying to accomplish a lot of stuff. So like you can respect that, but ultimately didn't really pan out that well. I like the acting, although Riley Keough's character I found really off-putting from the start.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of the point. But she's really good. I loved her in Logan Lucky. She's good in general.
How did you feel about Naoki Kobayashi?
As a Teiji,
Yeah,
yeah, he's good. I liked him.
it's his
He's
first like real acting role.
yeah, yeah, definitely his first English role
Right.
too. Yeah, I thought he was awesome. I mean, his scenes with Vikander, even if thematically, I still can't really grasp what they were going for at times. Those are good. Like those performances, I actually like their chemistry, the
Mm-hmm.
mystery, the aura that he was kind of had around him. I think is effective. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, man. Um, for a movie about a bunch of gaijin in Japan, it wasn't what I expected. I hadn't watched the trailer. I didn't know anything about the movie going in beyond. It's a movie with Vikander. I'm gonna watch it,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's hard to recommend, but it's nice to look at, right?
It is nice to look at for sure, and Vikander, of course, is nice to look at as well. So, worst waste I think to spend 2 hours.
More
I
nudity than I
also just
expected. Also,
yeah,
didn't know that was coming.
did not expect that, but I really liked the scenes like in where they were doing like karaoke or the
Mm.
nightclub scene or the band scene, I guess the concert scene. I thought those were really interesting, and the way that they like built tension in that. And when Vikander got to stop being such a I don't know, muted
Mm.
character, like when she finally like freaks out on Lily and Teiji on
Mm.
that retreat, I was like, all right, like this is what I want to see more of this. But then pretty much the rest of it was like very muted. So
Yeah, I did have one critique that I just noticed when they're going on that hike,
mhm.
and Vikander like sprains her ankle or whatever, and like I looked down, I'm like, man, those shoes were not even tied. They were hella loose. And then uh Radakio, who's a nurse apparently in the story, takes the shoe off right away as if
No,
that's good for the swelling when you fuck up your ankle. What the fuck? Like that immediately like raised my eyebrows. I was like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. And that says something for a movie that's quite confusing.
this movie is horseshit. Um, yeah, Earthquake Bird. If you wanna check it out, go for it. Let us know what you think. I don't think it's gonna be in either one of our best of lists for this year, but
No.